Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Monday morning. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Monday morning, guys. So I want to speak to you guys about a couple of things. I want to talk about release it fully. Release it fully. As well as trusting God when nothing makes sense or nothing looks like it's going to happen. There's nothing logical or nothing physical that you can see yourself that even makes sense to how it's going to happen. Oh, but it's going to happen. All right, let's speak really quickly about what was the first thing I said? Child, it's Monday morning. What was the first thing that I said I was going to speak about? Um, oh. Whew. Come on, coffee. Come on, coffee. Kick in, kick in. Release it and release it fully. You guys know we always say, Lord, I give it to you. Lord, take it from me. Right? We say those things, and then before we know it, we're right back harassing God's nerve. God, is it time yet? Is it time yet? Is it time yet? When you going to do it, God? When you And that's just our human nature. A lot of that stuff too, a lot of that stuff, you may not realize it, but it's also trauma triggers. If you dealt with abandonment and rejection wounds, then it almost feels as if God is abandoning or rejecting you when you're not hearing from him. And of course, you know that's not the case, but it triggers something in you if that seed is still within you. So this is why you're constantly checking on something you gave to God, even though you trust God. So don't beat yourself up, because again, we got to be realistic here. You know, some people, religious folks, sometimes will just push this thing like, oh, you really don't trust God if you. Listen, we're human. We're going to miss the mark sometimes. That's not the case. The case is when God starts convicting you to leave him alone, leave him alone. Seriously, seriously, because you're going to slow up your own process. So there's so many different, something's coming to my mind right now. Somebody emailed me, and I'm gonna add this in really quickly since it popped in my spirit. It can be very confusing at times, because some seasons or sometimes God will literally have you running like a chicken with your head cut off. And then there's times where he requires you to sit, and I mean sit still. I mean, he will convict you if you try to even move your hand. So it can get very confusing when you hear people say things like faith without works is dead, and then be still and trust God. See, you just got to know where you are in your process. You got to be so tapped in that you have that connection. This is why a one-on-one connection with God versus religion. And I'm not like knocking anybody's religion or whatever. I'm speaking more about having that intimate, personal relationship with God, where God deals with you one-on-one, because you will know where you are. You will know when God needs you, or you will know when God needs you to move, right? Because he's going to convict you to pick up that pace, right? It's going to be a fast pace, but then there's a grace behind it. So it's not overwhelming like how it would be if you're just picking up a pace just on your own accord somewhere. But then he will also confirm and make it very clear when to sit still. When you try to move, he's going to convict you. When you try to move, nothing's going to happen. You're just going to spin your wheels. It's like watering dead grass, right? He don't even pay you no attention, right? You'll be all in your feelings or whatever. There's something where he don't pay you any attention. He lets you have your little hissy fits, and he's still there. He still loves you, but you're not going to move him because you're emotional. Like that's just not how God works. But this is why it's important to know how to hear from God on your own and how to have that personal, intimate relationship, because you will know exactly what you should be doing. There's times where I have assignments that are back to back, and then there's times where I don't have any assignments at all. So it just really depends on your season and where you are. So if you're struggling with that, sis, ask God. Like literally ask God. God, what season am I in? What do you need me to do? And he's going to answer you, right? He may not answer you the second you ask. He will answer you. The problem is he answers us, and then we don't want to hear the answer. So then we still go, we still go do what we want to do, and then we want to harass his nerves again when he done told you to sit still, but you go and get your hands mixed up in some stuff, and now you want to vent back to him because the stuff ain't working, and he's just like, "Girl, bye." Like, seriously, leave me alone with that foolishness, right? So, as far as release, there is something that God keeps downloading to my spirit over and over. I think like maybe I'll say maybe about the last month. It's this conviction and this download to release, and I mean release fully. Release and don't check back up on it. Release and don't go looking for this. Release and don't call that. Release and go mind your business. Like, seriously, release it. Leave me alone about it. Like, it's something that when you get, and that's a process. Trust and believe. I think maybe for most people, right? It is a process to get there. So you're going to spin your wheels for a time or two. You're going to get frustrated for a time or two. You're going to have some despair for a time or two. You're going to go back and mess with it, even though you said you won't, or a time or two. This is why I think it's so important for people to understand that it's truly a process. Because if you think you're the only one who's going through the highs and the lows of it, you're going to get discouraged. I think most people do, if not all. Is literally a process. So be gentle with yourself. Stop beating yourself up when you feel like you failed the test. I failed the test yesterday, but I passed one last night, right? So don't beat yourself up. The enemy will literally try to have you condemning yourself. And God is just like, listen, right? It is what it is. Repent, but I need you to learn from this. That way, when you're tested again tomorrow, you will pass your test. But don't get so caught up in this thing where you want to hide from God because you fail a test. That's the trick of the enemy. So release it. There's something that happens when you finally get to this place where you can truly say, Lord, it is what it is. Honestly, it is what it is. And you mean that from your mind, your body, your soul. I mean, you literally mean that. There's something that happens where, boom, that's when God moves. It's the weirdest thing. Well, I guess it's not weird, but it's something about that. When you fully release things, that is when God moves. So I think for many of us, we're in a season where he's testing you. If you say you trust me, period. Right? Because at this point in the journey, you should be able to trust me. Look back at the track record, right? So he's testing us to really see, are you going to trust me? Also, there is something that happens too. I was thinking about this morning. Okay. Being the visionary that I am, meaning God already showed it to me in advance. So I always knew it would happen. It just never happens how I thought or when I thought, but it always happens. It always happens. But I promise you, when I think back on it, for all the things that God have shown me, and God has manifested these things, but and some of you have already experienced this or you're about to. It's something about when that blessing finally manifests. It's not that excitement that you think. There is something in the process to start burning things off of you. Let it be through the delays, the frustrations, I don't know, but there's something that keeps slowly but surely there's that giddiness burning off of you, and I think God does it that way also, because if he opens a door and we're still like that, I mean, like, seriously, you're still giddy about it, you're still like have the trembling hands and feet about it because you're just, oh my God, it's so exciting. You're not even going, you're going to mess it up. Because that giddiness that's flesh. That's really flesh. So if you're too giddy like that, because many times the promise is going to be bigger. Well, the promise is bigger than you. So there's things that are going to intrigue you. There are things that you're going to really look up to. There's things that you're going to feel like you don't belong in the room. Like you're going to feel less than, which is not the case, but you will feel like that. So if God don't start burning some of that stuff off of you when you get there, you're going to fumble, and you're going to fumble bad. You're going to conform. You're going to conform to the room. But once certain doors open and God, the blessing is literally like released to you, you're just like, thank you, God. Versus, oh my God, no, it's just like, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. Lord, you are real. Oh my God, Lord, you said and you did. Like, is that? But it's just like, all right, now time to rest. Because the process of it all and like took something from you. So it's not like you may have a celebration moment. I don't know. You may have like some type of an event and everybody's coming to celebrate whatever God has done in your life. And the other people are like, they now have that giddiness. They have that over excitement. And you're somewhere in the corner like, when y'all going home, right? Because something happens when you are processed through that process. And God opens that door. And it's just recognizing that God cannot lie. It's recognizing how real God is, right? It's all that stuff. But that what you think you're going to have, that stuff will be burnt off before God opens the door. I mean, you're still grateful. Don't get it twisted. I mean, you're still grateful, but it's just not Disney World like you think. Also, what I want to speak about too. Okay, for some of you, a lot of you, it is not going to happen the way it's going to happen, but it's not going to happen the way you thought. If God will allow you to guess who he's going to use, how he's going to do, then you would be God, right? So you just have to lock on to the promise, whatever he said to you, right? Whatever he said to you, it is. But when you start, I think that frustration starts coming when we start trying to create the narrative. So you're looking at this person over here and you think God is going to use this person. Or you're getting mad with your friends because your friends wouldn't help you. Or you're getting mad with your family members because they won't do this or do that. But that's not who's going to even help you. That's you trying to control that. Because it's more safe. It's more safe if you know, or you think you know because you don't know. Right? It's more safe when you think you know how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, who God's going to use. He's not going to use that person. I mean, sometimes he would, of course. I'm speaking in general here, right? So I think back on several of my assignments just in general. I was a complete stranger. 98% of the times. I'm a complete stranger. And God would ping me and say, hey, this person, this, that, and the third, right? They're going to tell you everything is good, but pay attention to your convictions. I'll download some things in you. I don't know these folks. Many times God will use a complete stranger to open the door for you. A complete stranger to bless you. Be very, very careful how you treat people. Because a lot of the times God will call you to watch a person first. It's not going to happen the way you think. Like right now. There's three or four. There's three people that God has me watching from afar. One but two of them, I'm like literally, they don't even know me. They don't even know me. But I came across their channel or something on social media, just pinged my spirit. And God gave me the vision. Well, there's nothing you're going to do right now. Because the magnitude I need you can't be done right now anyway. But when I elevate you, right? When I increase you, remember this person. Remember when this person said that. Right? Remember when I convicted you to do that. So you see, you this thing is so deep. This is why a lot of the times, again, when God blesses us, it comes from like a third party. Because God has to get the glory. If he used your friend, how was he getting the glory? Right? I mean, that's you call your homeboy and your homeboy look out for you, right? That's just a favor. That's just loyalty. It is what it is. But it has to be supernatural. Another thing, before breakthrough in a lot of areas, if not all the time, especially depending on the size and the magnitude of that breakthrough, expect a major storm, right? Expect attacks from different angles. Expect that. And see, when you're going through the storms and you're going through the attacks, like, I mean, we're so busy trying to fight it. Like, I mean, our mind is all over the place sometimes, right? Just trying to make sure that it's hard to understand, like, I really should be celebrating. Because after attacks, open doors happen, blessings come. The attacks is really to kind of knock you off course so you wouldn't be there to really get it, or you're so disconnected and unaligned that you can't even be in the position to receive the manifestation from God. So I wanted to share that. So if you're being attacked, then obviously the enemy is not attacking you for anything. I mean, he's just going. I mean, all these people in the world who just went to work this morning and they're at Starbucks, honey. They're having no attacks at all, honey. He's just going to choose you to attack you just because. No, he know what you carry. He know what's coming your way. He got to knock you off. And again, this is why you got to be so disciplined. There is absolutely no way to be disconnected and avoid your convictions and your downloads and make it to the other side. Especially the further you go, the higher you go. I mean, you got to be so disciplined. Like, I had plans last night, but I had to cancel because I got a conviction at the last moment. I don't care what I want. I mean, I did care, but I'm so connected that, listen, I got to get a download for something. Right? I don't know what it is, but I just got hit with you ain't going nowhere. Okay, cool. And when I sat my behind still, major download. A strategic move. So the enemy was trying to do something, because don't get it twisted. Listen, that demonic realm is very strategic. Please don't get it twisted. This is why focus and discipline is so important, because that demonic realm, say what you want to say. Say what you want to say. They got some fire. Say what you want to say. So you got to be so disciplined that regardless of what your flesh wants to do, right? If God says, shut your plans down and get connected. If God says, go on a fast. If God, whatever God tells you to do, you at this point here, for some of you, especially at this point here, you can't even say, I'll do it tomorrow. That's how deep this thing is. You can't even say, I'll do it tomorrow. You got to do whatever God tells you to do, because God will give you a strategic way to literally maneuver around the enemy. The enemy may have already found a target area, because maybe you spoke something, or you didn't even realize you just speaking and speaking. You don't ran your mouth too much. Right? You done did something. So now the enemy is on your trail, but you thinking everything is still good because God got me covered. Yeah, God got you covered, but you need to be connected. So when you hear God says, go left, you need to go left. Did I hear the birds? You need to go left. Because that left turn, that quick left turn, is going to be a strategic move. That left turn may save your life. But how would you know that if you avoid your convictions and you don't want to be disciplined? Oh, this thing ain't for the faint of heart. Don't get it twisted. Oh, but it's worth it. Oh, it's worth it. It's your girl, Kizzy Rob.